Who makes me feel the way I do? It's you. Who makes me wanna hit this road? Can't fight the feeling.
All right, y'all. Everybody here? Everybody accounted for right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay. So we back, y'all. We back for another show of And Then This Happened. Y'all gonna have to excuse me today. I am trying to get to the location of the protest with the NFAC coalition in Louisville, Kentucky. So the words for that is not fucking around coalition.
Stephanie, you're cutting up a little bit.
That's fine. We were 8 minutes out. Am I cutting in and out? Can you hear me?
You're good.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys open up with some topics right now while I get on location. I know last week we kind of started off and it was getting kind of heated. We were talking about religion, and you and Courtney. I don't know if Courtney's made it yet. We were kind of going. You guys were kind of going back and forth between the Bible and being the 12 tribes of Judah, and it kind of started with Nick Cannon, and yeah, so
Well, I feel like I want to talk about something because Courtney's not here yet. He said he's coming, but I mean, you want to wait for that topic or you want to go now?
If you want to go ahead and go on to something else, so we come back to it, cool. But I was gonna give y'all like a hot 20 minutes to go ahead and finish that last week because it was getting heated. Like, let me let them finish this next week.
Right. He ain't here, so I don't know. Does anyone have a topic besides me? Brittany, I know she got something.
I gotta unmute myself. Hold on 1 second.
You're good. We hear you.
Sorry, I had to yell at my children, y'all. My bad. Okay. So today I saw a post on Facebook, and it was just one of those little like reposts of somebody typing this little brief statement, and it was like, I'm practicing my stepmama voice, and it was like the lady said to the child, "Tell your mama you had fun in my house this weekend." So I want to get into the talk about first of all, everybody knows, I'm sure everybody like, okay, she ratchet. Okay, yes, we've already established that by the context. Okay. But there is like a little like, I feel like there is a stigma. Me having step parents myself, like I definitely have heard it from the horse's mouth, exactly how their perspective was on being a step parent and the relationship or lack thereof with the biological parent and the step parent, and to me that post, like it kind of led, like I feel like a lot of step parents or baby mama and the girlfriend or wife situation, like it can sometimes get hairy. And I feel like there's a lack of respect, and it can come from either side really. But I feel like there is a lack of respect, and then there's children involved. So I just wanted to touch on that and see kind of how you guys feel, because I mean, I had a step parent, and coming up, it wasn't a very easy relationship to have. And then like as I got older and I started having my own children, we had to like kind of hash it out, because this is my dad's wife, and I do want to have a relationship, but there was so much stuff that went on and coming up, and she like told me before, like, oh, I know our relationship wasn't that great. I had my feelings about bringing another child that wasn't mine into my home, but it is my husband's child. So I just want you all to kind of touch on that, and what do you feel, or have you been your experiences with stepchildren and step parents?
Well, I'll go ahead and go first and give my input. Can you guys hear me?
Everybody got okay. Everybody's like,
okay. So, like for me, I definitely grew up with a stepdad. He was married to my mother for about 18 years. Um, that experience had a lot of mixed reviews. Um, he was cool sometimes, and then sometimes I definitely felt like the stepchild. However, on the flip side, when we go towards the meme, my father was with my sister's mom for quite a few times, and when it says something about make sure you let your folks know you had a good time over at the weekend, I did. I sure did. Like I really had some really good memories. Um, and I think it's like I don't know. I think, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes step parent experiences can be pretty fun. It really has a lot to do with the parents though. Like it's about the communication style. If they get along, how mature they are. It's not easy having like that type of family dynamic where it's like a you know what I'm saying? Like you got your mom and dad, your stepmom and stepdad, like and everybody's on different sides. It's not easy bringing all of that together. But I will say within the 18 years of my mother and my stepfather being like married, my dad and my sister's mom definitely came to all of my family events. Like when I graduated from high school, they were there. When I gave birth to my first son, they were there. Like we always come together as a family. Like we would go out, we would go bowling, we would have a great time. So sometimes it just depends on the maturity of the people and who you're dealing with. And then sometimes you might have a not so good mixture. Okay, I'm getting a text from Courtney saying that he can't get in.
Okay, I'll handle it. I sound like Olivia Pope, didn't I? It's handled.
That's okay. Handle
It's
it. Handle
handled.
it.
Hey. Okay.
Charles, you want to go ahead and give you
So you want
some?
me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, I feel like in a like a mom, dad, stepdad. I think in those type relationships, it's good to for the parents to keep that relationship going if they can, like communication.
Mhm.
Because if it don't have any communication, it can be like misconstrued unless someone just trying to be petty on purpose. And
Mhm.
then when if someone trying to be petty on purpose, you can kind of kind of not ignore it, but you just keep giving that positive off, and sometimes they'll feel stupid if they the only one doing stuff like that. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how I go into it by just trying to ignore it. Then it might jump on me, and I might get petty. Then that she'll know how to ignore it because I ignored hers. So she'll be like, okay, well, he kind of blew mine off. I'm gonna blow his off. It's just giving each other a chance.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely I agree. I feel like it's a level of maturity that has to come with um people having, mixed families. Like it's you need to be able to navigate hard conversations because it started out as one relationship, that relationship ended, but there is still a child, a whole human being that still needs love and care from and compassion from both sides, and they need to feel that. And I feel like it takes a lot of strength and being grown up really and being able to just talk instead of using petty behavior or actions to make another feel a certain type of way because, things aren't the way that they want them to be or whatever. I feel like when there's children involved, you really have to tread lightly, man, because children are resilient, but things do stick around. Things stick with people. And truly, like, I think it blocks off something for people to be able to learn or be accepting as they grow up. You know what I'm saying? Like they were never, what I'm saying, shown that from the other side, or it was shown, but in a way that's really unfamiliar to them. So they feel like, growing up, it might be difficult for them to have those harder relationships or, navigate through those tougher situations because they haven't seen it as an example from their parents.
Exactly, exactly. I totally agree with that because a lot of times these parents that's doing that, those step parents that's doing it, they didn't have a good example of a step parent. So sometimes our actions teach the kid more than what we're saying out our mouths.
Yep.
Like sometimes we'll say one thing, but we'll do another. We'll tell them don't curse, but we'll curse at them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can you tell them that and you can't even not do it? So, you know, that makes a lot of sense, you know.
See, for me, the whole step parent thing is a little it's kind of convoluted because I feel like I didn't have positive experiences with my step parents. My brother did, though. At least looking back on it, my stepmother was very cold towards me, and I think that had to do with like my mom is very intense already, and I think looking back on it, like they were so young when this all happened. Like my dad was 26 and he had two kids, 2 stepkids, a wife, and a baby mom. You know what I'm saying? And so I remember there was an incident where we all went to the grocery store once and they left me at the grocery store. They forgot me at the grocery store.
No.
Right. I didn't realize they had forgot me until because I was like wandering around the grocery store. Then my dad came and got me and we didn't check out. We just went to the car. And then halfway down the road, Corey's like, they forgot you, right? And I was like, oh, okay. And then when my mom heard about it, she was just very fired up. She was not pleased. And I guess after that, my stepmom didn't really interact with me anymore. So but now she's totally the energy's totally different now. But everybody's older. Everybody's older, right? Everybody's grown. And I think that's one thing I had to realize about her is that she was 20 something and my mom was 20 something and my dad was 20 something. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. At the time, it was like, you're the parents, you're perfect. But
so did your mom confront her about it? The store incident? But she knew through your father probably that she didn't like it. Like, let her know.
I don't know how the confrontation went down. I just think it was a confrontation because my parents were very good about never letting us see them argue for the most part. We didn't see them argue, but I also didn't see my parents communicate with each other either. And that leaves an impression. You understand? There he is. There you go. Hey, there he is.
Hey, sorry for the lateness.
You made it. Everybody's here. The whole crew is here. Okay.
It's okay.
The gang's all here.
The thing about it is like, okay.
Hey, what'd you say?
The thing about it is like, so when I didn't see my parents communicate, because in their mind it was like, we don't want our kids to see us argue. We don't want our kids to see us argue. So that turned into, we're not really gonna talk about this stuff in front of our kids. So it created this weirdness for me. It created this lack of understanding of how I came from love. I never saw that love, even though it was still there. Like my parents still to this day can call each other, not like they're best friends, but it's no beef. I had an uncle just passed, and then my dad, when he found out, on my mom's side, my uncle passed. My dad, he called my grandma. You know what I'm saying? Like the relationship's not bad. I think blended families are new.
Yeah.
I realized like divorce really wasn't a I want to say hip, but it wasn't really popular till recently. Now it's different. So this idea of making blended families, I don't want to get on this case too much, but that's why I really respect about Will and Jada Smith, because they really made it a point to make a blended family work, knowing that it might not look conventional.
Yeah. Now
my stepdad, on the other way, he was to me, he could tell that I was probably going to be gay when I was really young. And his interactions with me were very much so, they caused me a lot of self-hate to this day. Like, even though my logical brain processes that,
you still got the little voice.
My emotions is still just like, that's wrong. That's this, that's that, because of how he was. My mom got me a Brandy's album, Never Say Never, which was like a great album. And when I got excited about it, he like took it and was like, why don't you listen to some rap kind of sort of thing? That's how he came at me. And now everybody liked Brandy.
Yeah.
Everybody liked, especially that album. That was the album with all the hits. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I think if you're out there and you are a step parent, My stepdad came from the viewpoint of, I want to discipline these kids, discipline. He never made an emotional connection with us. Never did. He never made us feel like we were his children. He made us feel like we were a hurdle, an obstacle.
Yeah.
At least from my standpoint.
That's from my standpoint as well. That's how it was kind of described to me, that it was kind of like I was a thing that was supposed to go. Like I mean, I'm not trying to like demonize my stepmother, because we have a relationship now, you know what I'm saying? And I know she was young. Like my dad had me when he was 17, and then my sister and I are 2 years apart, you know, with my stepmother. So, you know what I'm saying? Like he was 19 years old. He had 2 kids, a baby mama and a wife. So that's a lot, you know, and he was in the military. So I do get what you're saying about them being young. Like, I don't think that, you know, 20-year-old me would not be up my step. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that I wouldn't do that.
Right.
So it is hard, but I don't want to demonize her. But it was kind of like she told me, like, I didn't expect for you to ever be around. Like, we got married, we moved to Georgia, you was in Michigan, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was done deal. Like, and then I came to live with them, and it wasn't.
Either way.
My viewpoint, even as a young person, was always, whenever you love somebody, you love all of them. And that includes their seed. And I don't know, I just didn't understand how a woman could dislike anything that my dad created if you like truly love him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I don't want to, you know, take it all up, but that's just, it's difficult. You need a genuine lover, a giver.
Yep. Some of those parents, some of those grown-ups, they be hurt. It's like broken adults trying to heal, you know, kids, or trying to raise kids, and the kids end up growing up broken. So it'd be like it's a pipeline that just keep going and keep going. Somebody has to change it. So that's why we got to see what we're doing with kids now. We got to see that, you know what I'm saying? Because if not, then we can be neglecting them in a different way than we was neglected, but it's all being neglected.
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to go ahead. So Courtney, I don't know, did you want to speak on that subject, or y'all want to go ahead and jump back on this religion topic, and let's go and get this out?
I'm ready
What's
for
up?
it. I was waiting for Courtney to show up, for real. We held it off.
Courtney, Charles, y'all, they look. He didn't want to move on till we got started. They was waiting for you, Courtney. You ready? I'm gonna start it off by making it as innocent and as non-biased as possible. So I'm gonna start it off. Okay. So y'all were going into being the 12 tribes of Judah and the original Hebrew Israelites, and I'm gonna just say this. Somewhere in there, I just got quiet because the truth of the matter is, I'm still learning myself, and I don't know where I'm from. I can't give you I'm original tribe of Judah, or I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I can't give you none of that, because I got some Indians. You know, all black people. I got Indian in my family.
Yeah.
But I really do, like, I'm like Cherokee, and if you look at my family members on my mother's side, it's quite down there. It's quite obvious that, you know what I'm saying, I have Indian in my family. I have like ancestral pictures of Indian, Cherokee Indian, or Native American in my family.
Native American, indigenous people. Thank you.
Yeah, Native American. Yeah, I know it's not correct to say Indian, so I'm sorry. But yeah. Y'all, I'm getting right up on this protest. I'm getting like hype. I'm not even gonna cap, but I'm gonna let y'all go. It's 3:22 Eastern Central Standard Time, fellas. I'm gonna let you 1, 2, 3, go for it.
Before we go, I do can y'all hear me? People watching. Stephanie is at a protest out in Louisville. I don't know if you said it already, but they protested all the things and everything. So Stephanie's getting a real close up front view. So at any time, we might have to shift focus over to her.
I'm down like one more block. Oh, I'm sorry.
You good? All right, Courtney. You or me first. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
you can go. Okay, I don't know if y'all can hear me.
I hear you perfectly.
Oh man.
As soon as I say I hear perfectly, stop.
Puerto Ricans, you got Y'all can hear
Yeah,
me?
we can hear you.
Okay, but the 12 tribes consist of Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, Indigenous Americans, Dominicans, and a few more people. So it's not like, you can say, but it also is a 13th, and the 13th is what I was talking about last week, being the children of Esau or the Edomites. So it's like, it goes back to the history book, aka the Bible, telling you in Genesis that you will be in a foreign land amongst people worshiping a God that is not yours. And it's like for 400 years, you're going to be bond man and bond woman with bond child. It kind of gives you a depiction of who was being in bondage. Like, I know Irish people came over here, they was in bondage, but they paid them reparations also. They got the fire stations and all that stuff. So it's like, if you dig deeper and have an overstanding instead of an understanding into the Bible, you will actually get to see and pick out, okay, back in that day, these people acted like this. So who do you see now acting like a certain individual? And you'll kind of get a picture of where things are going. So it's not like, I'm crapping on anybody because I got a child that is Honduran, black, and me. And I got a brother that's white and black. So I want to throw that out there because I don't want to think I'm racist about anything. But you got to dig deeper and unlearn everything that you ever learned and been taught. Going on what Mr. Charles said last week, your preachers and pastors, your bishops and priests, they never tell you everything because if you got an understanding plus an overstanding of a situation, you don't need them to go to God now. So you kind of got to take it for what it is when they tell you.
I think the issue I have with
do some sorry for themselves.
I think the issue
you go ahead and go.
Okay, I think the issue I have with this line of thinking is that I think when you talk about religion and spirituality and faith, there's a key component to believing in something or having faith in something. It's the lack of proof. That's what faith is. That's what belief is. So to believe something, to have faith in something is to know, to have a belief in, having faith is believing in something without proof, with lack of proof. So that's why it's called faith. You take a leap of faith, just knowing that it'll be there, even though you don't have proof that it will. And I think what that does is when you don't, what that does is it takes away from every single religion out there that's not yours and says there's no chance that they could be right. And then by that point, you're allowing religion to be once again divisive instead of what it claims to be, which is conjoining.
So, Derriere, did you look into this a little deeper? What was it? What was his anti-Semitic comment? Does anybody know it?
He did it. What Link Cannon said was he was really talking about white people from the Caucasus Mountains. Now the other guy was talking about Jews, specifically Jewish people. Nick Cannon basically said that Jewish people, people who lack melanin lack soul. He said soul. That's why we call it soul food and soul music, and because it came from people with melanin and they are soulless. That's what he was basically saying. He was talking about white people. The other guy, what's the guy's name from
the interviewer?
Public Enemy. He was a guy from Public Enemy. There, he's the one that said Jewish people are the cause of all the wickedness in the world.
Like a Grandmaster Flex.
It was some.
Nah, not Flex. It's like Almighty J or some shit like that. I don't know. Hey man, there's so many Grandmaster names going on right now. I can't keep up with who's who.
Exactly.
My issue with that statement, what was said on that show was everything Courtney just said, whether you believe it or not, like he didn't say it in a way that should offend anybody. You feel me? Like as
Mm-hmm.
adults, like if I'm telling you something, I have an issue with what you're doing, I have that right. I don't have to agree with everything you say. However, there's a way that I go about it as an adult. You feel me? It's called being tactful. It's called being diplomatic. The issue I have with the whole push about this, I believe in a dialogue between faith, because when you really study multiple faiths, there's this odd joining of ideas that they all have.
Mm-hmm.
They all pop up in different ways. And so because of that, it makes me feel like we shouldn't be letting religion be a reason that you're not this and you're this and that and we are this. Because to me, when I hear that kind of speak, it leans on the edge of prideful. Mm-hmm. Oh no, that's for us. We're those people. But if you really look at what Jesus said, Jesus was like, okay, the birth of Jesus and his walk was basically God saying that everybody could be part of the tribe now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so to me, the fact that we're still stuck on that means that maybe we're missing the picture. And I think when you look at a lot of people, sometimes they use Christianity and they weaponize religion, specifically Christianity. And I want to say, what's the religion called? Islam?
Mm-hmm.
Islam. They weaponize those two religions. Islam, yes. They weaponize those two religions to be further, to harm people, to further spread hate. And it doesn't seem like those are the point when I read into those religions. It seems to be more about moving closer to, I don't want to say peace, but at least a peaceful coexistence.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Stephanie is at the Capitol building. Go ahead, Courtney.
I get it, and it's like I was saying last week, the Muslim faith. But again, the Hebrew or Judaism, as most people would call it, but Hebrew is a nation of people. So that's where a lot of things get misconstrued with, oh, you're Hebrew Israelite. Hebrew is a tribe. And again, it goes back to us not having a quote unquote Negroes, African Americans, blacks in America. You don't know your identity. You don't know where you're from, but you can research where you're from and figure out somewhat. But for the most part, like, they want you to be Negro. Negro is black. If you look up black in the Black Law Dictionary, black is void. There's no country called black. There's no continent called black. So it's just like when you say I am this and you have somebody saying no, you're that, and you know that was adopted along the lines of when Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton said, okay, you won't give us this, can you stop calling us Negroes and call us African American? But to understand that phrase right there, you are being captive, or you're being slave master and captive at the same time. So it's just like, okay, you'll research it, you'll find other Israelis saying this, you'll find Jewish rabbis saying this, you'll find Jewish people, you'll find Muslim people over there in Gaza and all of that saying y'all left black and came back white. So it's just like, you know, we don't know our history. In Russia, they black mother Mary and child Jesus. So it's just like, okay, so when we grasp that concept, everybody know, even in England, they know during the Dark Ages, it was a black royal family. That's why Queen Elizabeth, not Elizabeth, it might be Elizabeth, the old lady that ain't died yet, but she even came out and said that her sometime removed grandmother mother was black. So you got to go back to Sheba if you believe in Egyptology, where everybody was quote unquote pharaohs and all this stuff, because you have that set of people too who know the truth about certain issues because they dove deep into it. And You just gotta, again, to me, even in the Bible, you got laws. You got laws that tell you what you can and can't eat, what you can and can't do. If you owe me anything, I can't come in your house and take it. So it's not necessarily just like, oh, it's a religion. No, you're following instruction that was left and passed down, and it's supposed to be a way of me and you having differences. I can still communicate with you. I don't have to be like, well, you are a Edomite or you are a whatever. I can't deal with you. You know, no, it's like a peaceful thing. But like you said, people has brought it to the forefront, and like Professor Griff is the guy you was talking about. Those people to me are radicals because you got white rabbis that will tell you the same thing that I'm just telling you. Like, yeah, we was adopted. We came from Kaza over there in Poland and Russia. If you, and I don't suggest anybody to do it, but if you look up Hitler's autobiography, it goes in and tell you he was Negro and Jew. But we got it that he was a white German. Okay, I have uncles that was in war in, I ain't gonna say at war, but went to Germany. I got a cousin that's black in Germany. So it's just like when you hear history from somebody else's point of view and you view it for yourself and then get a better understanding, you'll understand, like, again, we are the only people who don't have a nation. We got two nations that we call home, but one we never been to. And it's a problem when you say, hey,
I hear what you're saying, Courtney. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I think we all hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, like I said, that would only go if you believe the Bible as a historical text. Because for a lot of people,
I'm gonna say it's to me, like I say, a manuscript. It is something that was passed down, so you can see things that was said.
What about Constantine's role? What about Constantine's role in how the Bible became a textbook? Do we ignore that? We ignore what happened with Constantine all the time.
You don't ignore the Council of Nice. You don't ignore that because that's something that I always brought up in church and asked questions.
Well, a pagan man made the Bible.
I've asked in the book of it, go down and do research. Even in Africa, those pagan traditions that they celebrate, that we celebrate now, Christmas and and that still goes back to the African or that continent's religion. Even the word Africa is Greek. Africus, that was a Greek general. Americas was a Greek general. So everything that we're doing now is we are mimicking the same thing that happened in biblical texts where he told us to separate ourselves from the Greeks. Don't do as the Greeks do. But we still do that. We still pledge Greek in college. We still love our Greek letters and, all that stuff. And we still got a government based on.
But that's if you believe. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're go ahead, Charles. You trying to say something?
Do I believe it?
Yeah, because I'm going to let y'all get y'all words in, but y'all missing some dope. Like, I'm ready to get y'all going. What's going on out here, y'all? They cracking, they pointing guns. So, I hate to interrupt y'all's speech, but right quick, they stopped mid-speech, and started aiming at drones. There's a guy up here to the right of me, atop of the Family and Allergy Asthma building. He had, I guess he's military, and he was ducked down with his rifle out. They all stopped the speech immediately and began pointing their guns at this dude. Let him know if he didn't show who he was, they was gonna shoot him. So it's like serious out here. But y'all go ahead. I'm gonna give y'all like another 5 more minutes to go ahead and cover this topic, and I want y'all to hear what's going on out here. Go ahead.
I just think it's really important to, because that idea, that ideology, it's not that we're not saying it's wrong, but you have to understand that there's room for error in that line of thinking because there's so many factors that go beyond what we know and can see and can prove. We know that the Bible was created by a group of men who saw the religious shift happening and wanted to capitalize on it. That's what they did. They said, well, we're this religion, but people are becoming that. So in order to make sure that we stay on top, we're going to change the religion to that and then use that religion to subject women, anyone that's not a white man, to our rule. We're even going to do it forever. They even took us from Africa where we were not practicing Christianity. We weren't doing anything like it. And then they gave us Christian ideals and thoughts. And then if you talk about Christianity as a historical text, then you have to ask yourself a question about, well, certain stories like, well, how does a live man, a biological man, be swallowed by a whale and not die? Logically, how does that happen? It's just the historical.
That's true, and it's like you can, again, it's people talk like me, like I talk in, I ain't gonna say allegories, but I talk in a enigma fashion, not fashion, fashion. I give you a story within a story to tell you a story about something, but you get it because I didn't say I did.
So the Bible has a lot of symbolic imagery, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it does, and it's up for you to
interpret,
diffuse, and take.
But that's my point.
That's where the interpretation sometimes
and understand.
That's the point. It's like you can read the Bible, which is why you have so many what do they call it? Not sections. What's the word? Denominations of Christianity, because you can read the same story, and
I don't agree with that.
You say you don't agree?
And get different things out of it. I don't know, because to me, it goes back to what you said, is being divisive, right? You got Catholicism, you got Protestant, you got Christians, but
Orthodox, Baptist,
Apostolic, Methodist,
all that.
So it's the same thing, and then it goes back to what you said also about it being weaponized, because now you're a 301c, so you getting a tax break. You don't get to talk politics, because if the government was going with it, was said we can worship whatever religion we want to worship or do whatever religion we want to do, that means you have to hold them to a certain standard. They would have to do what the Bible says do about taking care of the poor, about, not overindulging on the land, only take what you need. They didn't want that. They capitalize off everything. Now you got to pay to go hunt and fish, and you got to pay a privilege tax to drive. So it's like, okay, we don't want that. So we still gonna use this and say this. A lot of the presidents and statesmen swearing on a Quran. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
Barack Obama said that the Muslims. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm saying when he said, like you have, I'm gonna say Southern Christians, right? Southern evangelicals or whatever they are. You have them say that if it's not the Bible, it's not right. But when you go back to your forefathers, some of them went back and again swore in on the Quran. But you'll have a problem with the lady from New York because she's a Muslim. So it's just like, okay, you showing me who you are because you still want that supremacy. Even in Mississippi, when they took down the flag, it was against God wanted that flag up there. We voted for it and all of that. But you go back to the history of Mississippi, Emmett Till, Christians did that. Christians burnt flags on properties. So it's just like, if that's Christianity and you get a pass because you say, oh, it was in the past, but we got to get over slavery. We got to get over that. That's, again, white supremacy along the line of where Christians, we didn't do it, but you still have families that benefit off that. And then when you say, okay, well, I'm going to go back to the book where you read and tell you what we were and how we were supposed to get this, but you didn't give us that. But yet you don't want me to forget 9/11. You don't want me to forget the Civil War, which Mississippi or the southern states lost. But I got to look at the flag because to you, it's God, country, and that flag. But I'm telling you, hey, I don't like to be called African American. Again, I ain't gonna say I cussed, but I kind of, went left on my driver manager yesterday because He asked me, "What race are you?" So I'm like,
But when I mean,
American.
that's,
He was like,
I
"No,
think that's-
what nationality? American."
right, and I agree with that. I think that we often, I agree with the idea. Like, I like to be called black
So
because of
it's
the
like I
fact,
say,
I like to be called black because of the fact that I think that
yeah,
trying to we've been so far dissociated from anything African at this point. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally, and sometimes from African people. They've made sure that we know that we're not
yeah.
like. So because of that, we have no, which is actually, we might lead into another topic on accident, but that's another reason why I feel like here's another reason why I feel like, okay, we as a people, black people really need to start taking better care of each other, because in some senses we all we got at this point. We all we can depend on. Hey Stephanie, did you want us to go back over to you?
Yo, I'm here.
Tell us what's going on.
I can't figure out how to get back on the screen.
You're on the screen right now.
They treat us like shit. And he knows everybody.
Stephanie,
I hear you guys. I just can't get back on the screen.
we see your screen.
Hold it up.
It's showing, just pointed at your face.
I'm trying to get back to know how to switch back.
Okay. Well, did you want us to move to a different topic?
Sounds like a yes.
Okay. So I kind of want to talk about. Do y'all want to talk about Kanye? I want to talk about Kanye.
Okay, let's do it. Cause I love Kanye, man. I feel so terrible. Come on with it. Come on with it.
I have several thoughts. Like,
What we gonna do?
one of my first thoughts
That's what they said.
because he's running for president. That makes me very upset because I feel like he's capitalizing on those people that aren't critical thinkers, that don't see what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
The people who aren't smart enough to realize, oh, he's just trying to take votes from Biden so that Trump will get in office. And that makes me frustrated. But at the other half of it, he's also mentally ill. Not to say that he's crazy. He's not crazy. But when you have bipolar, you have extreme mood shifts. And when you're not depressed, you'll be maybe in the middle. But if you're not depressed, going through a depressive episode, you go through a manic episode. And when you go through manic episodes, you have these delusions of grandeur where you can do and feel and say anything.
Whatever you want.
I just wish he would go and sit down somewhere and take care of himself for a minute. I think that's what he needs.
Yes. Go, guys. I'll let y'all go because I got a lot to say always.
Yeah, I agree too. You know, but I think some of the things that Kanye do is kind of calculated. You know, he know what he's doing, and then sometimes he goes off into, you know, a different land. But he put things out there because he know, you know, kind of what he's doing. That's just my opinion about it. I think he kind of know more than we think, and I think he kind of play it like he, you know, don't know. But some of the things he just, you know, go off on the edge of. He kind of go further than what probably we will. You know, we'll go so far.
Absolutely, because he has this. I think he also has like a huge ego on top of having everything else going, because he feels like he is blameless in everything. I never really. Okay, I never hear him take responsibility for. That's the thing about when you're mentally ill. It's still your responsibility, especially once you know you're mentally ill, to take your meds, to make sure you go to your doctor. Just like if somebody told you you had cancer, go to chemo if you want to, you know, beat it. If you want to get it under control, you have to take care of yourself. You have to go through the work. And I feel like that would take looking at your actions from an objective point of view. Then, dang, that was messed up that I just did that. Because him doing that whole speech about his daughter and almost being aborted, I was like, bro, like your daughter's gonna see that someday. You know? And that's a
Yep.
I'm thinking I'm going along the lines. I think he don't care. At this point, he don't care what happens. Like, you know,
That's
I've seen a
depression,
theory
though.
floating around that he's trying to get out of that marriage with K.
You think he's trying to run?
Maybe if he, yeah, if it's like a person who loves the spotlight. Me and Stephanie had a disagreement on this issue, but if a person who loves a spotlight with no blemishes, but now I'm bringing you a blemish, you kind of gotta, you know, I don't want this anymore. Why are you making me look bad?
Right.
Type of vibe, man. And it's just like, I'm thinking that's what he wants. He know Chris is not gonna put up with it. Kim, Chloe, Kylie, none of them are gonna put up with it. So it's like
that whole family's not gonna deal with it. But then again, that's another question. Should people just like, this is the thing about it. When Kim came out with her statement, I really loved every single thing she said because she definitely didn't take sides. It was just mostly just like defending him, saying, "Can y'all please be respectful? Y'all know he has these issues, and maybe what you're saying is hurting him more than it's helping him." She sounded like a wife who really was still into her marriage and just wanted to see him get better. Where everybody's telling her that it's time for her to run for the hills.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on the statement.
Like I say, but I'm biased on that because again, like he shows signs of, hey, I'm okay, and then he shows sign of, hey, I don't like Negroes. You know,
right.
He didn't like Negroes doing Katrina, but now
that's why I say it seemed like
it's
an act.
just like I don't get so. Yeah, I don't give him too much energy. So it's just like
I don't think it is.
You know, and it sucks that you got to the point where you numb to him spewing ignorance because you still got some of us black people that are still go support it. I'm not gonna pay $5 for a pair of shoes.
Right.
You don't like me.
I have mixed feelings on the whole
situation. I think he's just using his, either he finna drop a CD.
He got a lag.
No, he got a clothing line coming.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I have number one. I had mixed feelings on Kim's response to it, because it sounded like it sounded great, like exactly what you're saying, asking for privacy, asking for, please be polite, please be kind, blah blah blah. Don't hurt the situation. But I also felt like how much this family is in the limelight and how this family came to be in the limelight. I also I take that with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was very it was very PR friendly.
Okay.
It was overly written. It was, you know what I'm saying? But I felt that, but I feel like you had that shit proofread, man. Like,
what would you have said?
Huh?
What would you have said?
I don't think that I would have I don't think that I would have given a damn about voicing anything to the public because I would have been worried about my husband.
Okay.
I have a husband, and if my husband was going through something like that, first of all, I would have shut all of that down. I would have put a shut down on the screen. Any more viewing of my husband being done, I would have shut it down. He would have been protected for real. You're not gonna be allowed to stream all his videos. I'm gonna need y'all to take that off. I'm gonna need y'all to shut that down on your streaming systems. I don't want that anymore. You're not gonna depict my husband ill. He's ill. He's ill, and I feel like he needs protection, and I feel like of course he's gonna be, like, I have dealt with this firsthand with mental illness in my family, and they are not going to say, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get some help because I need it right now. Once you have gone that deep into your depression and into his bipolar episode, ain't no like you said, the delusion is grandeur. That is real. He's feeling something that sane people are not even capable of understanding.
But you have to, and this is the thing about it. When we talk about mental health in our community, there's certain words and verbiage and intention that we have to be careful of because, which I'm not picking on you, Brittany, but the way you just said sane, there's a huge difference.
That's why you Z.
Huge difference, just for anybody watching. There's a huge difference between insanity and mentally ill. A huge difference between being psychotic.
I do, but so I definitely think that being in a manic episode is you having a break from your sanity.
Because if that was the same, then being depressed is a break from sanity.
It is. It is.
Breaking from sanity is like, because if that's the case, every time any emotion builds up in you enough to where you are not acting the way you normally would, that means that being drunk is being insane.
But it is like your body is having a chemical reaction and you are dying. That is what being drunk is. Your body is having a chemical reaction to being poisoned. You know what I'm saying? Like that's happening biologically in your body. I mean, I'm not trying to, maybe insanity is a strong word or a not directly, PR correct word. But what I'm getting at is when he is going through what he's going through, I don't feel like people who do not suffer from any type of mental illness or don't know that they suffer from a mental illness are able to understand what's going on.
Absolutely.
And when I saw it, it broke my heart. Like it broke my heart because look at, like, he is brilliant. I do feel like she put all that. He is brilliant. He's a genius. And he is. Like, I remember he had an episode on MTV a long time ago, and he painted a picture of what music looks like to him in his brain. That man is smart. But he suffers. And you can see his suffering, and it manifested physically, and it ended up being very harmful. He used harmful language. He provoked harmful ideas. For a lot of people, because I bet there were a bunch of people who were like, yeah, Kanye, tell the truth. Go ahead, spit it out there. And for his, I don't want to say his family, but those who love Kanye is like, no, like, this is not, no. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so side note, I think we've lost Stephanie to the protest, and Courtney had to go to work, so it's us three for the next 30 minutes.
I can dig it.
Cool. Yeah, so this is the thing. I get what you're saying, and I just want, the reason I'm leery about the verbiage is because in our community, we really need to do better about promoting admittance of that. You need to be able to admit when you're going through that stuff, because most people, I don't think they can. Let me see what I'm on. No, I'm gonna go with this one. All right, so I think when it comes down to it, like, there's people out there right now who feel like Kanye feel, but you see how he flipped out when they tried to get him help and said, they're trying to put me away, have me committed, all this stuff like that. Well, like, if they commit you, once the doctors say, like, they can't keep you there just because they want to keep you in jail. Like, once you get better, and the doctors are going to be the ones to determine that, not Kim and Chris. They'll let you go. That should be a positive for you. It's the same. They're going to rehab and all that kind of stuff like that. You don't want that change, and that's the difficulty.
Yeah.
How do you learn to want it if you don't want to admit anything is wrong?
Also, I think it's also him being scared. Because that is, I mean, I'm sure that is something scary to go through, to feel that, because I do feel, in my personal family, you know what I'm saying, we have dealt with this. So it's like, it's almost like you're seeing someone who they know that they're going through something, but the remedy seems more difficult than it is to just deal with it, And like you said, I think we do need to put more effort into making it a normalized thing, to get your head checked. It's okay. Like, your car need a checkup, so do you. I think
that's going to start happening, because when you see this whole shift right now that is going on with Black Lives Matter and all that other stuff, I think what's going to happen is this: Black people, ride with me here. I might sound, if upset anybody, I'm sorry. This is how I feel.
I'm listening.
Black people are finally going to let white people deal with racism, because it's their invention. They've been capitalizing off of it, and it really isn't something that we have anything to do with other than suffering from it. And now that y'all are getting y'all shit together and y'all call each other out when y'all see it, Now Black people can start worrying
We
about
can step back.
our own community. We can fix the violence in our community, the way we treat women in our community, the way we treat people who are not straight in our community, the way we treat people who are mentally ill in this community, the way we treat people who are not of our class in this community, because those are all things that divide us. Oh, you bougie because you rich and you made it at the hood. Now you think you know switched up all that kind of stuff. You too light skin, you too dark. Now we're going to be able to focus on all that because it is no longer important for us to try to figure out just live. I think I'm not saying that it's not part of our fight. We will always deal with racism and we'll always stand up for it. But it's changed now because now we can actually have a little. I know you saw that. You saw that. And she made sure that got on camera today. I feel like that's what's going to happen, and I feel like that's why what's going to happen is individuals are going to start. There she is. Individuals are going to start taking their mental health more seriously and going to get checked. What is that? Let me see if I can get her.
What was that? Did you say? What was that?
What was it?
Louis? Oh, you talking to me? Are you talking about what you're talking about?
I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
Hold up, Stephanie. Just talk, okay?
I'm sorry, y'all. My bad. My camera is like overheating, and I keep getting kicked off of here because it's hot, and my phone is not having it. So I'm sorry.
Hey, Stephanie, show us the statue again. I had you the only one on screen because I want you to be able to show it.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go back to it again. Okay.
All right.
Like my phone is really just not giving me no life. It keeps going dead. It's getting too hot. Hold on. Let me switch it right back quick.
Okay.
This is Louis the 13th. Oh, I'm so sorry, baby. They tore this motherfucker up.
That's crazy.
That's Louis the 14th. XVI. XVI.
It's got the X with the V and the I on it. I don't do math like that. That ain't my type of math.
X is 10, V is 5, minus 1, that's 14.
So they already pretty much ended the protest.
16.
Basically, he's like, they coming back in 4 weeks. He basically let out a lot of information a lot of people didn't know. So basically, the Attorney General is just now getting all the information and all the paperwork on the case of Breonna Taylor. Even though it's been like how many months now, he just now got all the paperwork 6 days ago. So he was basically saying that they came in peace. And I got a little bit of camera footage in between my phone completely overheating every time. It ain't nothing. It's the devil, whichever one y'all talking about. I don't know.
Whichever one.
I'm in a religion conversation. The day of all days, my phone could not take it, and it kept overheating. But they're coming back in 4 weeks. They said if they don't have answers in 4 weeks, they're coming back to burn this shit down here in Louisville.
Who said that?
The Grandmaster Jay, the leader of the the NFAC. His words verbatim. They got 4 weeks to come up with an answer, conclusion, a resolution. They need to come up with something more than what they come up with. If not in 4 weeks, they coming back, and they coming back armed strong. That's what he said. I heard it with my own ears. I'm pretty sure it's 1,000 people out there with cameras live. Yeah. So
that's gonna be all over TV today. So we're kind of getting an exclusive right now.
Yeah, but I'm leaving because it's hot and my phone won't act right. He's pretty much done with his speech. They're about to go back to where they gathered at, which was at Baxter Park, which is right down. If you're from Louisville, it's down like by Village West. They're going to be out there. They're already out there now, some of them, but they're going to be marching back around there. And he was looking for Breonna Taylor's family. They say they're finna come kick it for a hot second.
That's good. So you said the Attorney General said they just got new information?
According to Grandmaster Jay, they just received the information, all the information regarding Breonna Taylor's case about 5 days ago. So all this time, everybody's been thinking the Attorney General has had the information. He has not. They are just now releasing all the information to him.
Okay.
So, and they also said that the investigation on that would take another 5 months before they would have the answer as to what happened or what was going, or how they were going to reinvestigate the case, or however they want to do it. They gave it another 4 months before they would have any information. Grandmaster Jay of the NFAC, I guess he ain't fucking around because he gave them 4 weeks to figure it out. That's basically what he said.
I guess thinking about everything, just think about how the justice system works. I think it's just difficult for, I think with these kind of situations, they want to know that if they charge somebody, that if they charge somebody, the charges are going to stick. Because I think what they're more afraid of not charging someone is charging them, taking it to trial, and then the charge is not sticking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be a big miss, and they don't want that.
That would be a mess. And so I don't mind them. I think it's smart of them to make sure that they're charging people not only with charges that are justifiable, but also charges that will stick. Because sometimes if you overcharge people, the charge won't stick. They'll take that charge to trial that you're charging them on, knowing that it won't stick. They'll make it released. It looks to us like what it always looks like. And maybe that's what it is, but it looks to us like that. It looks like no more progress. So at the end of the day, I feel like if they want to make sure that this is the way they want to make it, then I think that they should. Look at her sweating.
Hot.
I can't hear you.
It's for real out here. It was hot. It was hot out there. So I want to give my thoughts real quick about the Grandmaster Jay. All week long, like to the point where I was like, not like I got homework assignments and I got to go home and I got to do them today because like I got so wrapped up into who he was and like what he was about and what he stood for that I mean I really just like got wrapped up. So I had to come out here like everybody who wouldn't give me a ride and y'all wouldn't come and meet with me at that. I'm gonna get y'all. See, I made it alive. I couldn't get nobody to go with me. I had one homegirl that wasn't scared to ride. Everybody else flaked, but that's okay. But I can understand because like he definitely has like a very I guess pompous or like a very in my opinion I would call it kind of arrogant attitude. I don't know if people have seen the or listened to the YouTube where he does speak to Louisville Metro PD and he's in and he's also with other community leaders, but like he was like aggressive in his tone. So he was making threats back then. Like he was kind of like, y'all got a certain amount of time. If not, you don't want to know what's gonna happen next. You got 42 to 78 hours to come up with some information before we mark our presence on Louisville, Kentucky. So for me, I was like, okay, well, we already tore the city up and up. Like, we really don't need nobody coming down here from the outside. You know what I'm saying? Coming in, and then huh?
He's not from Louisville.
No, I don't know where Grandmaster Jay is really from. To be honest, I mean, I know that he ran for president in 2016, like that. You know what I'm saying? So he went from running for president. Yeah, like I did some research. I've seen where he served a couple of branches in the military. I know he's supposed to be ex-military, but from what I've seen, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like he's making some stronghold threats that like if they decide to burn Louisville down, like where I'm gonna go? Like which one of y'all gonna let me come live with y'all? Cause I live in Louisville. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need my house burned down. So I want resolution. I can't hear you.
I said the thing about it is that you look at situations and people need to be cognizant of how their actions affect other people. It's like, we want change. We know we want to get change. And I don't think all the change is going to come peacefully. I think some of it will, some of it won't. However, when you start a problem, if you start a fight for yourself, that's one thing, but you're not starting a fight that just for yourself. And you're forcing a lot of people's hands without even including them on whether they're down for it or not. You also are showing lack of care for the Black people who can't survive something like that, who have little babies, little girls and little boys who can't do that. So
yeah.
I just think he should think about, I mean, he's not going to even see this, but I mean, I think he should think about a way that this can be feasible to where the more vulnerable in our community won't suffer.
There should have been I don't know if it did or didn't happen. I do feel like there should have been a meeting of the minds before, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you got to think back to kind of like, you know, you think about like gang culture, like the Crips and the Bloods, like it wasn't always you know what I'm saying, a rivalry. Like, of course, there is that rivalry, but it was more of a tribal thing. Like, we have respect for you, you have respect for us. We can do business together. If, you know what I'm saying, if these steps are followed, it kind of needs to be something like that here, where he come in with his members and things like that, but you need to sit down with the officials or the leaders of the community in which you are about to impose your ideas.
Well, he did a YouTube, and he did have a meeting. He had a meeting with some officials from LMPD and a couple of other community leaders, and what he did was talk that shit. Like I just said, he had told them he wasn't hearing that shit, and he wanted some answers before he came down.
So
but then he also went back.
I'm gonna need you to find that and send that to me, ma'am.
It's posted on my main page. If anybody's friends with me on Facebook, y'all know my real name is Stephanie White. It's posted on my main page. There's one day where I literally was just posting video of him back to back sometime this week, maybe Wednesday, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday sometime. I'll shoot it to your inbox. But he also doubled back. He had more meetings that I did not see. But after he came back, he had a meeting with the Louisville's Black Media. That's what they call. That's another live that I shared where they had a Zoom meeting where he kind of came back with a more peaceful approach. So he was more so saying that he was now working with the LMPD. I will say, it was pretty much organized out there. They did have LMPD out there protecting them. They did a very good job, because this morning when we first woke up,
protecting the protesters.
Yes, the police was definitely out there making sure that the NFAC was able to show up. But listen, check this out.
They had their permits. That's what happened.
They got their permits. They were legally and lawfully out there. People they were not out there with weapons. You know, all out the cases. Everybody who had guns that I could see, they had them in their holsters, or they had them with their rifles, with their straps. Or maybe I think I stood next to a guy and showed him with his shotgun on his. But if you had a gun, you were uniformed, and it was obvious that you belonged with them. He's giving specific instructions on that. And then also, like I said, this morning was completely different story. There was a 3% group that was anti-NFAC, and they were out there early this morning protesting. So when I was up, like fresh out the bed, they were already downtown. They were trying to call themselves protecting the city. They were not trying to let this demonstration go down. This is the first time I can actually say the LMPD, like, they did their job for real. Like, because the Black Lives Matter movement group was out there. They were protesting and they were beefing. I thought it was about to go down. Like, they were going back and forth so bad. LMP, they came in, they did a barricade between both groups, and they pushed both groups out of the way. They pushed the Black Lives Matter. They had to go all the way on one end, and they pushed the 3%ers down another block.
And see, that's my thing. Like, and so I watched a little video where they were kind of like getting ready. The 3%ers, they were getting ready in the parking lot. I watched that live, and they were just like, well, we're here to back up the police, and we're here to provide backup in case anything crazy goes down, and we need to protect the police because, you know, Blue Lives Matter. And like, I think there's just like this, you cannot tell me these people are not trying to like start some shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like so now, you know what I'm saying? Like you're telling on one hand last week, you know what I'm saying? You were saying, oh no, the police know what they're doing their job, this and that. And now you're saying that they can't do their job and they need backup. Which one is it? You're flip-flopping, you're back and forth. And I feel like they're trying to intimidate. And as you said, it was the 3%ers and Black Lives Matter going head to head. They didn't try to come. They didn't try to break that LMPD line that was protecting the. You know what I'm saying? The actual group that had the right to be out there. They wasn't messing with them. They wasn't messing with the people.
Also, I'm gonna add this in, and it is on live earlier. There was a Black Lives. I'm not sure where Black Lives Matter stands with the NFAC because the way the lady was talking on the video, I'm pretty sure she does not represent the entire movement. But she was kind of like, we don't need neither one of y'all here. She was like, fuck the NFAC and fuck y'all too. Like she was like, y'all need to take that bullshit on somewhere. Like we don't want that shit here. So for me, I was like, this is.
I think.
What'd you say, Darier?
I think with all these movements that we're seeing is that's one thing we have to make very clear as a people. Like it sucks, but right now we are on some old Black Panther, Martin Luther King type situations. Okay, we have the people who are out there just ready to march and walk and write the congressmen, stuff like that. We also have people who are ready to fuck shit up. The issue with that is this: I'm a proponent of nonviolence. I'm always a proponent of nonviolence first. I feel like violence should be your okay. We have no other option. Let's do this. But there's so many other options before that, right? I think that at the end of the day, this world is only so big. So we need to either figure out how to do it, or somebody will have to start colonizing Mars real quick. So I feel like this when it comes down to this whole idea that all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter. It's like no, all lives can't matter until Black Lives matter, but life is valuable. I can go with that. Because life is valuable, of course, a Black policeman, his life isn't any less valuable than me or a Black woman, or I get that. But that's what I like about seeing the unity that we're seeing in the world in certain people. There are policemen who are coming out and saying, like, no, that shit is not how we're trained. That's not what we stand for. I'm for
don't let me catch you.
And I'm for, putting people who need help where they need to get help, all that kind of stuff. So essentially, I feel like, and Charles, I guess he's having technical issues, so he's running the comments. He thinks nonviolence was an MLK era thing. The thing about nonviolence, as a belief, is it's not an MLK thing. You have people like Gandhi. Gandhi had 2 million people, either 2 million or 200 million, somewhere around there, that followed his philosophy of not harming people. Because what we do is, as human beings, we have this thing that makes us more adaptable than any other thing on this planet. And you know what that thing is called? A brain. Our brain is the most complex computer that exists. It's so complex we don't understand 90% of it. 90%. We can't even access 90% of it. And part of that brain is supposed to help us problem solve and find solutions to problems that we seem like there is none. Violence becomes your initial response. You're forgetting every other possibility of a solution. And I feel like what we're doing as a people, especially Black people, we're incredibly intelligent, we're smart, we're streetwise, we're savvy. We know how we are, all that stuff. We're adaptable, we're moldable, we're survivalists. Because of that, we can find other roots to this stuff. I think it's known that we can be violent, and that if we want to take it there, we could. And y'all know what that would be like. However, we want to just eat. When I say eat, I mean be successful.
Yeah.
Enjoy our lives. And make sure that our offspring can do the same. That's what Black people really want.
Yeah, because my thing is, for me, and that's why I'm out. Like, I was watching people. I'm a debater. Like, I will debate quick. So when my folks were like, "Fuck that shit, burn this motherfucker," burn what down?
Right.
Where am I gonna go stay with when you burn it down? You feel me? Like, what? There has to be an intellectual solution behind this. You know what I'm saying? The burning it down part, like, you can't burn it down, bro. that's not gonna work. And so I'm like, so they be like, some people have to die for what you believe in. So after all y'all dead, what's the resolution?
What's left, right?
What's the resolution?
There's always casualties in a war.
Yeah.
But here's the issue. That
we can't be more strategic.
It's just the justifying, like, oh, there's casualties in war. No, that's somebody's daughter, bro. That's somebody's son.
Like,
that's not a casualty of war. That then minimizes the impact of that loss. And I know that mother or that father or that sister, brother, child, whatever, can take that loss and be like, man, you know, at least they died for a good cause. But that's still a loss, an irreplaceable one. So we can avoid that loss. If we can make it, if we can find a way around it, that's awesome. And I feel like we need to start looking for those options. Not saying they're the only option, but are we even looking at that? I think what he's doing is positive in one aspect, though. I think he needs to make it known that there are Black people out there who absolutely will not stand for this shit.
Will not play with your shit. Yeah,
and that's what I respect. I respect that about him. Yeah,
he's very stern.
Yeah, he definitely ain't fucking around.
He's not fucking around.
He reminds me a lot of my father, to be honest with you. He's very like he's very, you know, matter of factly, and he's you know what I'm saying, like I just feel like he has that leader quality. Like he could really do some damage, you know what I'm saying? But right now, I think right now it's like a lot of us have gotten to that kind of like fed up moment where we like, you know what, I'm about ready to let's go ahead and break it. I'm gonna break it. But it's like you kind of have to have that, like you need to grab hold and like, okay, I don't want to tear this up. I'm trying to build something up. And it doesn't necessarily have to be taken down completely in order to fix it.
Which sucks that the Black Lives lady, I'm kind of upset with her now that I think about it.
Me too. I was so mad. I was like, get her off the camera. Like, I was like, why do we have, of all the Black people, why is she on camera speaking? Like,
I was like, she was that in the room with your girlfriends, with your mama's house. You got on the internet and said all that does.
So, you know, they were like, eating that up. Like everybody had the cameras on her, like zoom in on this. Yes.
The manner lady ain't with it. Oh
yeah.
All you did was create more opposition,
more division
for these other Black people who are trying to make the same type of change as you. They might be going about it differently. What would be dope is, and I'm gonna go with Tamika Mallory. So she was on The View, and they were going at her about her relationship with Louis Farrakhan because how he talks about Jewish people. And she basically was like, look, I'm paraphrasing. I fuck with Louis Farrakhan. I do not agree with everything he says. I told him so myself, but that's not going to make me
not mess with him.
Yeah. And because we fuck with each other, I can tell him, whoa,
little extreme, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they want to make it be like, oh, because y'all are associated, y'all have the same views. Absolutely not.
Absolutely. And that's not
exactly.
We're not a monolith. Thank you.
Her. She would not trash that man. They were trying to get her to say, oh, we want you to condemn him. She was like, well, but I'm not going to say that. I don't agree with his opinions, and I would have loved for Black Lives Matter leaders to have done the same. I don't agree with that man's method, but what he wants to achieve, I absolutely stand by. Boom. And we
please just don't burn our city down, please.
That's all I'm saying. And my thing is, I really want him
so he don't have to come back and burn it down, please.
What I want him to do is to build and form a chapter here. Like when he spoke on with the Louisville Black media, he spoke on wanting to provide safety and wanting to provide protection for the Black citizens of Louisville. So what I was looking forward to hearing him say, and I'm hoping that I hear within the next 4 weeks, is that when they're coming back to build a chapter that they're going to leave here in Louisville that is going to enforce everything that he came down here for. I want this to be more than a photo op moment. You know what I'm saying? I don't need
come back and do the work.
Yeah, like I don't want you here because like your militia is gaining momentum. Like I want you here because you really want to help us out here. Like they arresting all the protesters. Like I think he really came, like he shook this city up because people were shook up behind this. Like 24,000 people watching the live. Everybody's all in a tizzy because this one little, and he ain't even that big, y'all. I knew he was gonna be little. He was a little bitty man, little skinny man, you know. But he got the city shook. No, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like he got the city shook, and he had people standing behind him with it. You know what I'm saying? And he went about it the legal way.
Yeah.
So
That's what I want. Like, that's what, when I saw that, I was like, okay, he took the time and he knew he got his ducks in a row. He got his people in a row. Don't talk to them. Don't point your gun. Don't look at them crazy. Don't do none of that. We're not doing that. We're not being disrespectful. Don't disrespect us. We want to come here. We want to have a discussion. That is what I loved about it. And I feel like if he is going to put a chapter here, I would definitely be looking into that, because I mean, I feel like it's a start. It's a start in the right direction to get us together. Let's get in one space where we can bring all of our Black selves, all kinds of our Black selves, because there's multiple versions.
As a Black person, I am making it my personal responsibility to like have great encounters with every Black person I see.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I love y'all.
Right.
Because to me, I feel like this. It's like, look, you and having been locked up, I've had to be in those situations where people are like, bro, I can't even believe you're here. And had I been on the street, I never would have talked to you on the street. Like, you're really a cool dude. I was like, because I'm a human being. You're a human being. We're all just people. At the end of the day, there's so many obstacles to our happiness, Black people's happiness. Let's not be each other.
Let's not be an obstacle for each other.
Yeah,
that's a word.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get out your way, brother. You do.
Yeah, because I see you. That's why I said. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
And that was my thing.
Same struggle. I might not have had, you know, the same obstacles, but I know you got them.
Yeah, and I think it's also having an appreciation of the differences as well, because that is just an appreciation, not necessarily a respect, not necessarily an acceptance, but just an appreciation for it, and that everybody just has those differences. And we also have so many similarities. We don't have time to get caught up on the differences. We are all struggling. We are all dealing with wage gaps. We are all dealing with so many things. Like, let's come together and let's make it better for us. And then if you want to branch off, like we was talking about religion earlier, there's so many different denominations of Christianity. And I'm not gonna tell y'all none of y'all wrong. If you like it, I love it. That's
exactly.
you. Just don't inflict don't inflict nothing on me that is unfair. That's all I'm saying.
The way I feel about religions is especially because I practice a philosophy, not so much a religion, but people call it religious or whatever. Is that practice helping you to become a better person and a stronger? And are you through that practice learning how to become a positive addition to the world?
Mm-hmm.
The answers are yes. I don't really care.
I'm good on it.
Making that happen. I don't care how making it happen. Like, to me, it's like, look, I think there's so much room in this world, in this life, for things that go way. I'm gonna get a little trippy, but things that go way beyond the things that we can grasp right now. Way beyond that. But we have to stop.
Yeah.
In order to make that happen.
Mm-hmm. We're in our own way in a lot of times.
As Black people, yes, but as human beings, it's like we literally just create obstacles for ourselves and then scream at the obstacle.
So brother with the NFAC, I hope to see more from him. I hope to see him bring together all types of folks, all types of color folks, bring us together, help us educate ourselves. You know, I'd like to see more programs and more schools being, you know, created for us and giving us more of our history and giving us more, you know, everybody we all came from somewhere, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a big issue with us is the lack of a broader knowledge for all of us about who we truly are. You know, we have bits and pieces, and I feel like if it was more normalized to like Pan-African studies, like why is that not like why do you have to go to college and be grown to get that? Like, what?
And it's got to be a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people gotta want that knowledge though, for real. You're right. When you say go into it being a choice, people have to want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta want to know who you are and where you come from.
I think people shouldn't. I think people should have. I think there's certain things that need to be required in this country for people to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I think you posted this, Stephanie. Maybe not you, but they said they're starting to require people to learn LGBTQ history.
Yeah, I posted that.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm like, I think some people are going to be like, oh, they teach them about the gay people, trying to turn everybody gay. It's like, no, that's not what it is. What they're doing is trying to create a generation of adults who don't hate people.
Yeah. because they don't understand, right?
For whatever reason, they're trying to create a generation of people who don't feel like, oh, I hate them black because they're black or Hispanic or Asian or immigrants or gay or straight or Catholic, whatever. That's what they're trying to do. And they do that by normalizing it, making it something that they learn early. Like, hey, this is these people's history. This is what they had to go through. That's why black people, especially like, because you have to think about it. Black History Month is relatively new. And because of Black History Month, you have, which I get people being upset with Black History Month, but because of Black History Month, you have more and more people who knew about that struggle. I'm talking about white people, and who then became adults who were sensitive to it. And now it's at a point where it's like, no more Black History Month. We about to do that shit. We're gonna do Black history right along with American history. As soon as instead of it being like a whole separate thing, and this at the same time as the Revolutionary War was going on, this is what was happening to black people. This was happening with Native Americans. This is what's going on everywhere. We're creating a better unit like that. So I feel like we need to be teaching kids about all the kind of the history of our world, the way it happened.
Yeah. So I'm on. Go ahead. Did you want to say anything? Okay. I was just gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap this up already. Believe it or not, it is already like 4:28. So I was able. The only thing that came successful out of this for me was that I was able to get this little here portable charger, so I wouldn't go dead.
We had a lot of success today. It was a great.
Okay, because I was like so mad. Like, I don't know. I guess it was the sun. Like, the sun was like taking my phone out. Like, my phone was like, no, like overheat. Like, get in the shade. I was so mad. I was like, no, like trying to make sure I could get back on the show because I wanted y'all to really see what was going on. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like 1,001 lives like all day. So I'm gonna be out and about, and I'm gonna try to see. I even went and bought a camera, yo. I went and bought a camera and everything, but then I didn't have no time to charge it, so I gotta charge the camera so I can see if I can get footage. Like, I'm working on it. What happened?
I said,
I hear you guys.
I'll tell you when we get offline.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're going to wrap this up, y'all. It was good to converse with you guys again. Until next week, I appreciate you guys for coming. Charles, I know you in the comments somewhere, so I appreciate you. I don't really know what happened with Courtney. I hope y'all got that religion topic straightened out. I don't know if
he's on the road. He's on the road. You can tell he's a trucker. He's on the road. He gone.
Yeah, he had to go. We talked about it a little bit. I think
okay.
Still, we just look at it differently because I feel like you have to accept that that everything is like there's a faith. You have to accept that that's your faith, and everybody doesn't share that faith, and so therefore a lot of people find some of that offensive to their faith.
Yeah.
Say that.
Well, all right. I love you guys, and until next week, y'all. And then this happened. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.